all want to go home to your tea and warm blankets. Or maybe that's just me.
I'm right there with you, right there.
Okay. Hey. Grab 1, 2, 3, and a pen.
Okay, thanks.
All right. So, who has detoxed in one way or another at any time in your life? Yes, yes, yes. Yes, I do. When you get the flu, you're actually detoxing. This is a lot more pleasant version of detoxing than the flu. So we have some of the reasons that you might want to detox are to have more energy. Who wants that? Yes.
You need double dose of that.
A double dose of that, yes. Tammy has 4 children. She needs a quadruple dose.
Yeah.
Get off medication, sleep better, fewer digestive issues, look better. That's a big one. Feel better. Here we go. Here's this one's for you, Tammy. Keep up with kids and or grandkids. Be more competitive on the golf course. Really appealing to some people. Whatever your reason is, making sure that having some sort of detox is a big part of that. And we're going to go into some of the reasons why. I don't think that it's probably going to be a big shock to any of you to know that we have more issues with chemicals and toxicity and pollution now than we really ever have at any point in time. Now, we live in a great part of the world where, you know, our air pollution isn't like it is in China. You know, our water pollution isn't like it is in other areas of the world. But we do still have pollution that we need to deal with. So some of the biggest ways that we can get toxicity into our bodies comes from air, water, food. Things that we have to ingest. We can't choose not to breathe. We can't choose not to eat. We can't choose not to drink water. Recent study showed that our water contains traces of Prozac, Zoloft, estrogen, and other pharmaceuticals.
Really?
Yes. So if I were to ask the question before I just read that, who in here takes Prozac? Okay, well, we all do in one way or another.
Free of charge.
Free of charge. And the estrogen, yeah, the estrogen is a really big deal too, because estrogen, the inappropriate amounts and ratios of estrogen are associated with things like cancers and feminization of men. So we definitely don't want that. Here in the U.S., even though we live in an area that doesn't have air pollution like, say, China, 2.4 billion pounds of air pollution went into the air, and that was back in 1989.
Hasn't gotten any better.
Hasn't gotten any better over time. In fact, EPA reports that the average American consumes 4 pounds of pesticides, disgusting, 193 pounds of GMO food, so that's your genetically modified, and there can be some issues there. And then average tissue samples show 400 toxic substances, 3,000 different kinds of chemicals, and 10,000 solvents that were found in our food. So, I mean, could we even begin to name 1 or 2 solvents? Apparently there's over 10,000 and they're found in our tissue samples of our own body. And it starts really early. So they did a study. They looked at 10 newborn infants, and these were U.S. children. They found 180 chemicals that cause cancer in humans. Hey, grab some of these. Each of that, 1, 2, 3, and okay. 180 chemicals that cause cancer in humans, 217 that are toxic to the brain and nervous system. So you guys may not be aware, but there's an epidemic of autism in the United States. And we don't know, we don't have any sort of like, this is what's causing it. But if we're finding 217 chemicals that are toxic to the brain and nervous system, and we also have this huge problem on the rise and we don't know where it's coming from, this is at least a fraction of the problem. 208 that can cause birth defects. So just as a tip, this toxicity questionnaire, if you know somebody who's thinking about conceiving, is going to have a child in the next year or so, Our recommendation is that they get their total score below 40 prior to conception. That helps to eliminate these problems for their future children.
So the score on this paper is what you're saying?
The score on the paper, yeah. Yeah, on the back page.
It's not just for their future children, but their
Future grand,
children's-
yeah,
yeah, their future grandchildren too.
yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, so what would happen if you didn't change the oil filter in your car for 30 years?
Might stop working.
You wouldn't have it for 30
What
years.
car?
Right, what car, exactly. Didn't clean out the dryer vent for 30 years. Fire, yes. Filter in your vacuum cleaner for 30 years. So many of us are above the sweet age of 30. And have we been changing our filters and cleaning out our detox systems of our body? If the answer is no, you probably have some clogged filters. Even if the answer is yes, there's probably some maintenance work to do. So here's your body's filters. This is one of my favorite medical diagrams of all time because it shows the system that I work with every day, which is the nervous system. So your brain is up here, your spinal cord is here, and these are all the nerves that are going off to all your organs and tissues. And what I get to do on a daily basis is make sure that your brain can talk to your body so that it can function good and feel good. And some of those nerves go to some of your body's filters. Your lungs, your lymph nodes, your liver, your spleen, your colon, your kidneys, your bladder. Those are all the filters of your body. So just like you have the oil filter in your car, you've got the liver in your body. And to be healthy, you need to make sure that you have no interference to normal function. So in other words, your brain can talk to your body. So it can do the things that it needs to do with your organs and tissues to eliminate those substances. Okay, have you guys gotten to the point where you've been able to add things up yet? I've been talking at you rapid fire, I know. We'll pause for just a second. You're gonna hear from Dr. Taylor for a minute. But you, just as a general, I know before you get there, you don't have your numbers yet. If your number in the grand total section is 40 or below, then you need to do maintenance purifications once a year, maybe twice a year. If your number is above 80, you need to do a purification once a quarter until it comes down below 40. And we can go back to that number too when you guys have time to get finished. And here's a sweet picture of Dr. Taylor and I a decade ago. Look just the same, don't we?
Sans the hairnet.
Sans the hairnet, yeah. All right, your turn.
All right. So what we were doing right here is we were actually at the standard process factory. We actually went up, we flew into Chicago, I think, right? And it's in Wisconsin.
Minneapolis, maybe?
Yeah, or maybe Minneapolis, yeah. But we went there and it was, have you guys ever seen Happy Dirt? Happy Dirt. It's happy dirt there. I mean, it is rich, it is dark, and they grow most of their, things they put into their supplements. That's why we just love standard process, because it's food for your body. It doesn't force your body into submission. What it does is it actually helps your body heal over time. So that's why we really like this. Those of you that are taking medications, the good news is there's no herbal products in here to actually interfere with any medication. So it's safe to use while you're taking any medications as well. That's one of the big questions we have a lot. Is it going to interfere with that? And it does not. So over and over again, they've proven this. This has been around, oh my gosh, how long is this?
Since the 20s.
Yeah. This whole process has been around, and it's hands down one of the best detoxification things you can do. Down, right?
Right.
Okay, so let's talk about the process, okay? So this is not one of those, things that you're going to have to eat nothing all day long. Okay, this is not one of those detoxes like that. You're actually gonna be eating an abundance of food. How does that sound? Days 1 through 10 are as much fruits and vegetables you can possibly consume. We recommend things like soups and stews, things like that, just to kind of give you that hearty feeling, especially this time of year. It's great to have soup because it's nice and warm and cozy and makes you feel good. Just try and get at least 50% of these raw, like as a snack. One of my favorite snacks with this is having some guacamole and dip your celery, your carrots, broccoli, whatever in it. And that's a good raw way of getting those things into your body. But you want to make sure they're lightly steamed, stir-fried over low heat. So a good vegetable stir-fry is fantastic as well. So it gives you a little bit more of that warmth that you're looking for, especially this time of year, and makes it feel like you're eating something of substance. Organic produce is really important in this because we talked about the pesticides. Where do you think they come from? Our food, the conventionally grown foods. Some actually more than others. So some of the things that we can talk about later is where to find those and what ones are the very best. So SP Complete, SP Cleanse, Gastrofiber or Whole Food Fiber, we'll talk about what's more appropriate for each of you to what to order if you choose to do this. And high glycemic foods, corn, bananas, and white potatoes, those are out because those actually raise your blood sugar quite a bit. Yep, they certainly do. Okay, yeah, corn and the potatoes are not vegetables. I know we live in the South, but they're not vegetables. I know, I hate to blow that bubble. They are not vegetables. Okay, I know, right? We learn something new every day. All right, so here we talk about how to choose your produce on this.
You
Now,
said corn, bananas?
corn, bananas, and white potatoes.
Okay.
Okay?
I don't like any of those.
All right, well, there you go.
Wait a minute, I take that back. I love corn, but I don't eat it because it's messed up.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
So we have the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. So if you just look at this, you can actually look this up. You can Google this if you want to, and it'll come right up. The Dirty Dozen, these are the ones you must purchase organic. Those have the most pesticides associated with them. So here's the Clean 15. These have the least pesticides associated with them. So what I always say is if they're on the Dirty Dozen, organic is the only way to go. And their Clean 15, I would say look for local first. They may not be certified organic, but they could be very, very close. And then you can also buy conventional with those as well. Those would be safe to buy conventionally as well. Okay, so just a way, so you don't have to think everything has to be organic. Just make sure it's this right here is
You have that
organic.
in here?
It's actually, you can, like I said, you can Google it. Just put Clean 15 Dirty Dozen, and that'll pop up.
Okay.
Clean 15 Dirty Dozen. Just Google that, and you can make your own little picture on your phone. Okay. All right. So we're still on days 1 through 10. Still eating fruits and vegetables, all those yummy soups that you're going to make and stir fries. But water is super important. How many of you guys know what the appropriate amount of water is? All right.
I think it's 8 ounces per 10 pounds of body weight.
That's a little bit more difficult math.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and just, go ahead, Diane.
Half your body weight?
Yeah. Half your body weight in ounces, exactly. So how much you weigh, divide that by 2, that's how many ounces you need to shoot for on a daily basis. Okay? All right, so spring or mineral water is best. How many of you guys are gonna really miss fizzies of the like sodas and things like that? Okay? You wanna go ahead and get sparkling mineral water. You know, put some lemon or lime in there. I think that would be really good, and that would help you with that fizzy that you're looking for. Drink between meals, add fresh squeezed lime or lemon just to give it that flavor. There are some things that you can add, like in your water bottle, where you can put fruit infusions in there. You know, have you seen those before? Where they have those little inserts where you can put fresh sliced fruit in there and give it some flavor. That's actually really good too. It's really refreshing as well.
Is reverse osmosis the same as distilled?
No, but reverse osmosis is fine. It just doesn't contain the minerals any longer.
But you can add the minerals that.
You can put a little bit of like sea salt in there to do that, or you can actually add some like trace minerals or something into it as well.
You can get that at Home Mart.
You sure can. You sure can. See, plethora of knowledge over here. Okay, so we're still on days 1 through 10, eating all those lovely fruits and vegetables. So homemade salad dressing is really important. Salad dressings are nasty. Have you ever seen the ingredients on those? They are just gross. Okay.
Even if
So-
they're organic.
Well, it depends. You want to look. You want to look. Come on in. You want to go get 1, 2, and then 3 right here. So that first one, that very first one,
Okay.
right there, and then get yourself a pen as well. Just kidding.
What
Oh,
was,
and there's a second one too.
could you go back one slide? What was the 2 waters that we can drink?
You,
Sparkling?
Sparkling
and-
and spray.
Spray.
Mhm.
All right. So I'm gonna tell you that fat is very important. It's gonna keep you full, like avocados, making sure you have plenty of like olive oil in those salad dressings and things. So those types of foods are gonna be very important for you. So butter is also real butter. No country crock, okay? Butter, olive oil, coconut, almond or grapeseed oils, those are all okay to use as far as your oils in your salad dressings. So keep it simple.
What about palm oils? Are they banned?
Palm oils are okay, it's just that it depends on how they were, you wanna make sure they're pure. Because they actually adulterate palm oils quite a bit.
Well, Country Crock just came out with one that's dairy-free,
Mm-hmm.
and I got the one that has
It probably,
almond oil, but when I got it home, then I saw it's more palm oil than it is almond oil, so I don't know if it's any better for me or not then.
yeah, I would not use it.
Okay.
Not during this, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably very rancid. Any sort of country crock, those types of alternative butters
Yeah.
are rancid.
Oh, great.
Yeah, they're rancid. We can't get into that tonight, but
Okay.
just trust me on this one, okay? So one of the things that Dr. Christie actually found is beware of fake olive oil. Fake olive oil is everywhere. Most of it, what did you say, was like
It's sunflower seed oil. And sunflower seed oil does not have the same nutritional profile. It goes rancid a lot sooner. It is not the same thing as olive oil. So we found a great place here in Texas that makes their own olive oil, and I recommend that. Otherwise, it's kind of hard to tell. But one giveaway is if you open up the olive oil and you smell it and it smells like a box of crayons, it's bad.
Yeah, I mean, I actually got some from Dr. Christie as well, and it was fantastic. We went through it actually pretty rapidly in our house.
Yeah, we ended up on an auto ship.
Is it organic too, did you say? Is it organic locally? Or is it-
Yeah, Texas Hill Country Olive Company.
All right, half an avocado a day, y'all. That is really gonna help quite a bit. It's gonna help fill you up, okay? So butter is great. Like I said, choose organic and unsalted, no margarine, corn, peanut, or vegetable oil. So your canola oil is rancid. Just saying. All right, so we're still on days 1 through 10. You wanna eat all day long. Make sure you give yourself some good snacks. Do not skip meals. Your blood sugar is going to be kind of at a weird place at the very beginning because your pancreas is still pumping out all this insulin to take care of all the carbohydrates that you're so used to. So you're gonna need to keep up your energy and eat plenty of food. So anything that's on the safe list, the good list for these days 1 through 10, just eat an abundance of it. There is no limit to how much you have to eat. If you're hungry, eat. Okay? This is what we need to avoid. Okay, avoid alcohol, caffeine, tobacco, and other stimulants. You're basically choosing to give your body a break, okay? You're choosing to give your body a break for 21 days, okay? If you're a high caffeine user, if you're gonna start with all of us, give yourself at least 4 to 7 days, depending on how much you drink, okay? Because those caffeine headaches are just atrocious. You don't want to be changing your diet and getting a the caffeine withdrawal at the same time. Okay, not a great idea.
green tea does have caffeine.
It does, but green tea is just a little bit different. Coffee, I think, is probably a little bit more because it's the bean that actually can mimic some things like gluten as well.
Okay.
And it also has mycotoxins, and if you're by Folgers or something like that. So green tea is really an excellent substitution. So if you really need that caffeine, green tea is a great way to go. It contains a lot of antioxidants and it helps detoxification as well.
How do you feel about decaffeinated?
I was gonna ask.
That's fine. It depends. Make sure it's organic. Otherwise, it's going to
It's
be.
easy to find.
Yeah, just organic green tea, decaffeinated is just fine. You can do that, especially if you're maybe sensitive to caffeine, you don't drink it regularly. So that would be great, but it has to be organic. All your teas must be organic. It takes up fluoride from the soil, and also when they decaffeinate things, it naturally has caffeine in it. They use solvents. And again, remember, we get a lot of solvents in our body already. We don't need that.
So is the matcha green tea fine also? Okay.
Yeah, it's all
Does it
part of
have
that.
a little
That's
more
actually a little bit more raw, so that's good.
Yeah, okay.
That's
What
even
was your
better.
question?
The matcha is
The
matcha green tea.
green tea, it's like a green tea powder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's actually green.
Yeah.
And that's okay?
Yes.
Yeah,
Dr. Jen, how do you feel about decaf coffee? Is there
it
any?
must be organic.
Okay.
It must be, again, they decaffeinate it with solvents.
Okay.
If you're,
But organic is actually a water process, so you don't have the solvents at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you might want to be careful with that, because some advertise that, and it means the bean was, but the processing is not.
yeah,
The
So you do
organic
wanna
part.
know- Yeah, you do want to check into your supplier, how they actually process it.
yeah, and that's a very good call. So it really is, it's a lot of, it's never been more important to know what's in our food than right now. I mean, because you have no idea what they've done to it. Okay, so there's a product in the first 7 days called SP Cleanse. You will be done with this bottle on day 7, okay? So on day 7, you'll finish the SP Cleanse, and you'll begin taking the SP Green Food, okay? So all of this is in the little booklet that you have. We're just gonna go over it step by step with you, so you can always look back. Everything is in that booklet as well, okay? So, but remember, you still have 3 more days of eating all your lovely fruits and vegetables. Okay, now let's move on days 11 through 21. If you've done really, really well with days 1 through 10, this is gonna be the biggest treat you've ever had. You have never had a steak like the steak you're gonna have on day 11. Okay, trust me on this. And it's drenched in butter. Oh, all right, so days 1 through 10, you continue with the SP Complete, SP Gastro Fiber, and the SP Green Food. You can add in fish. These are great fish. These are the ones anything that's local, like lake raised or farm raised, stay away from. Those things are just chock full of antibiotics and all sorts of fun stuff. Not fried, you can do baked or broiled. Those are all really good for you. Chicken, turkey, red meat, whatever kind of floats your boat, whatever you're craving. For me, it was a nice juicy steak. All right. So you want to make sure you vet your meats as well. Remember, not only the food that we're growing, but we really need to know what we eats. Does that make sense? So you want free range, grass-fed, antibiotic-free, hormone-free. There's grass-fed. There's all sorts of different bells and whistles and everything that you need to look for.
Now, are restaurants on board with these things?
No, unless you go to a farm to table. If you go to a farm to table, like Whiskey Cake is one. There's one called Harvest in McKinney. Actually, you know what? Harvest closed.
I think, didn't
Yeah.
Whiskey Cake close too?
No, oh, big. Did Whiskey Cake close?
No.
Okay, I'm getting it mixed up then.
Yeah,
There were
there's actually,
several that went down.
there's a lot. I know, when it closed down, it was so sad.
I think they are too, season 52.
Yeah, season 52, they're they're seasonal, so everything they have is seasonal. You can actually see what farm it came from on the menus.
And
So
True
if you-
Foods,
What's that?
Yeah,
True Foods.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
So-
that's good.
So take a look at if you really want to go out to dinner, especially if you're still in that social phase, especially if days 1 through 10 is going to be a little more difficult. But even at this days 11 through 21, if you want to go out to dinner, why don't you just Google farm to table restaurants near me? everything will come up, okay? You wanna look at their menu and make sure there's something on there. Plan it before you go, so you know what you're going to order. Does that make sense? And that way you're prepared for everything, okay? All right, so,
Let me talk about this linker real quick.
oh yeah, go ahead.
So, if you're wondering where a good source of getting, the right kind of meats are, this Texas grassfedbeef.com, that's our new favorite place because you can order it online and it comes in a nice little box to your front porch, which is amazing. But they actually, provide, chemical data on their meat to prove that it has the correct omega-3/6 ratio that you're looking for from meat. So for those of you who aren't familiar with that, if you have a nice grass-fed, grass-finished red meat, it has a very similar oil profile to something like salmon. Very good for you. Yeah, and TexasGrassFedBeef.com, the name of the company is Slankers, and they have great customer service. I'll send you guys this whole presentation too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Alright, so during this time, not only you're gonna be cleansing your body with food, so using food as your medicine, but you're also going to maybe enjoy something else. Exercise, different body care, things that you can do. Exercise is really important. We want you to sweat, okay? Whether it's going into a sauna because maybe exercise is not something that floats your boat. Epsom salt baths are really good. How relaxing are those? That really pulls a lot of toxins right through your skin. Bentonite clay. How many guys know what bentonite clay is?
No idea.
I've heard. Yeah, it's excellent. It's a great detox, and you can actually take it internally, and it's a great detox internally as well. Dry skin brushing. So you actually see this right here. This is actually how you want to brush. It's like a lymphatic brushing. Helps move toxins out of your body, helps those lymphatics move. Especially if you're sitting at a desk all day long, your lymphatics are really sluggish because you're just not moving as much as our body needs. Home exercises. How many of you guys have your home exercise booklets if you're a patient here? Raise your hand. You know where it's at. Okay.
Extra points if you know where it's at.
Yeah. All right, there you go. All right. So go ahead and start doing those exercises again, the range of motion exercises, things like that. And just walk 20 to 30 minutes a day. Not even a power walk, just movement is really key. All right. What to expect after the 21 days. This is really cool, y'all. So if you look at all of these, how many would just love just at least one of these things? All right. But a lot of people have several of these things happen. As a matter of fact, how many of you guys have a sweet tooth?
26 of
Okay.
them.
Okay, yeah, exactly. All right. When you add, like you start tasting things that you used to eat before, it will be too sweet for you. You're like, ugh. The strawberry tastes better than the strawberry that has no strawberry milkshake in it. You see what I'm saying? So really, if you look at all of these things, even one or two of these things could change your life. Could change your attitude. Could change your attitude for your coworkers, your spouse, your family. Just these changes can take place right here. And on top of that, this is not, I'm just gonna say, this is not a weight loss program.
Oh.
It is, I'm gonna preface that now by saying, this is a get healthier program, and what happens as you get healthier? You get to a healthier weight. Exactly, okay? So those are some of the things that you can definitely see with this, and what a great time to get started with all of that. All right, so speaking of which,
This young man is my stepson. This is Logan. Logan's actually getting married in a few months, so this is a older picture. When he was 13, he came to his dad and I, and he said, "Hey, he was on several medications. He was overweight. He had trouble focusing in school, and just generally didn't feel very good." And he came to us and he said, "I don't know what you can do for me, but I think you guys might have some answers." Would you ever? Yes, we have answers.
Did you check for the pot outside?
Yeah,
Aliens came and changed you?
I know. Exactly. So when people say, I'm not sure I could do this, I like to tell them the story about what happened with Logan. All right, so it was these pictures were from when he was age 15. His goal was to get healthier, and he wanted to get rid of all of these issues and gain more energy. So over the course of the 21 days, he stuck to it. He made his own lunches. He chopped up his veggies. He, put his olive oil and his vinegar on the salads. And we cooked him, the dinner. He took his supplements. There was no supervision from Dad or I for any part of it. So if a 15-year-old
That's
can do
very
that,
impressive.
Yeah,
For a
it is.
15-year-old?
it is super impressive for a 15-year-old. But he was very, very motivated. So in fact, he really wanted these pictures. We didn't ask him to do these pictures. He asked for these pictures, and he made sure, you can see, he made sure to look very unhappy. But a genuine smile there. And he was able to get off of all of the medications that he had been on. And he went from needing a little support with reading and attention in school to just right in regular classrooms. So that was a big change for him. And he's 24 now, and he has maintained all of those things. Yeah, this was kind of the thing that got him to the starting line to have the health that he wanted. And what a blessing that he was able to do that at such a young age. Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Helped him catch a wife, huh?
She's a cutie too.
Yeah, she's a catch. We try not to say, you're so lucky, how did this happen? It's mutual. So one of the things that we really stress about this cleanse is that if you're new to cleansing, this is the first time you've cleansed, or even if you're an old hat, it is a lot easier to do if you do it with someone. So if you're the only person in your household doing it, it can be a little tough. But if you have someone you can text, oh, here's what I'm eating for lunch, send a little picture. This is where food pictures are actually a good thing. Can help each other out. If you can get some people in your circle of influence, friend circle, to do a detox with you, it makes it so much easier. All right. Who's ready?
Who has questions?
Who has questions? That's more appropriate. Yes.
I'm a statistic guy, and I'm just curious, of the folks that start this, what is the success rate?
I have no idea.
No, success meaning what? They make it through it, or?
Well, see, my deal is, I've done little things for a long time that have never stuck. I'm not looking for a fad, and this doesn't appear to be one. This is something that seems like something that, I could put into my life and maintain. And,
Yeah.
something as solid as this.
I would say just with our patient population, that most people finish in one way or another. Some people are able to completely 100% without fail get all the way through. Some people, the first time they do it, they fall off the wagon, they get back on. They fall off the wagon, they get back on. And then maybe time 2, they're able to fully complete it. I encourage you to do the very, very best that you can. And if you're honest with yourself about being able to do the very best that you can, that's the best any of us can do, right? But I do think that this is something that is attainable. Again, if a 15-year-old can do it, most of us can. Most of us can. Yeah. Or a 68-year-old bachelor.
Oh, yeah, we had, it was, 68-year-old bachelor, he didn't even know how to boil water, and he did it.
Well, there you go.
I mean, really, what did he have? Man.
And then there was someone that we had to show how to use a blender. So.
I mean, we're starting from the scratch.
So if you have all of those things down already, you're ahead of some people. Yes.
Can you have, unsweetened, non-dairy milks, like
So
almond
you
milk,
can have
coconut milk?
coconut, but you wanna avoid nuts.
Okay,
Coconut is a fruit.
okay.
Because part of the elimination of foods is to figure out if you have any sensitivities. And nuts can be a high sensitivity item for some people.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't see milk products on your list. You know, is cheese okay, cottage cheese yogurt, milk?
No
Yeah.
dairy.
It's
on
not
the
on
list.
the, it is on the list.
Not,
of the milk.
not on
On
the
the no
list.
list.
Right. So we're
No dairy.
eliminating.
No dairy.
Yeah, just to be clear, no dairy.
Right, so if you wanna make a list of the things, now, it is in your booklet, however, if you just wanna make it just a quick list, sometimes writing it down kind of puts it into your brain, that what is eliminated from the diet is the high allergenic foods. So we're trying to get those out, because we don't know what could be setting things off. So dairy is one of those, except for butter. Butter is okay. Then there is nuts. No nuts.
You just put
It won't go bad.
Put them in the freezer.
It's in the freezer is a good idea.
Put them in the freezer.
Just 21 days. And then you start adding them back in. And then you do, and then you one at a time.
Yeah.
And what else? Eggs are out. Eggs are out. They're one of the highest allergenic foods that we have found when we do our allergy testing. Grains are out, except you can do a little bit of quinoa and a little bit of wild rice. So those are two that are acceptable. Not your whole plate, but I would say about a half a cup per meal.
So you're eating fruits and vegetables for breakfast?
Yes, you are in fact.
I eat eggs every morning for, since I could cook eggs.
I do love an egg.
Wild rice. Yeah.
I eat 3.
So you, as part of the kit, you're gonna get something called SP Complete, which is chock full of protein and from plants. And I recommend doing a smoothie for breakfast. Cause you'll wanna get at least one smoothie, preferably 2 a day.
And you can add other fruits into that?
You add other,
Yeah.
yes.
There are
Yeah.
recipes in your booklet.
Okay.
Or vegetables, right?
Or vegetables, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
said
Yeah.
you probably put some
Yeah.
sandwich
Sure,
in there.
and peas already, that's, just add that to it,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you're gonna need protein. You don't wanna lose muscle mass during this point in time.
yeah.
Okay, that's how you get your protein.
There's
And you
chocolate,
have one without whey?
yes, there's
Okay.
chocolate, there's vanilla, there's dairy free, and there's original.
Original meaning?
It has whey protein,
And no flavor.
yeah, enough flavor.
Okay, so is there one without?
Dairy free, yes.
Oh, the dairy-free one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. And there's no beans except for lentils. Lentils are okay. Beans are actually high in carbohydrates, so they can actually raise your blood sugar as well. So lentils are okay, just no other bean. And what am I missing? Soy.
Does that include green beans, or are you talking about your harder shell beans?
Green beans are okay. It's more like the legumes.
Yeah.
Yeah, kidney beans, pinto beans, things like that.
Mm.
Am I missing something?
Alcohol,
On the no.
caffeine,
No,
we were
yeah.
talking about the alcohol, caffeine.
Right.
Right.
I think caffeine was
Like
it.
lima beans or something? Those are out, okay. Sugar?
Yeah, no sugar.
We're making a list.
Yeah, no sugar. Stevia is okay.
And if you guys
What
ever
about
seen,
monk fruit?
I like fruit.
Okay.
That's okay.
Yeah, doing the cleanse now is a lot easier than it was a decade ago when we started because there's so many things like that out there now. The monk fruit, the different stevias, coconut flour tortillas, which I will send you guys a link about.
Oh my. Buy them or make them?
You buy them because some sort of magic happens in that kitchen that I don't think I could replicate.
Where do you buy them?
They're so good.
Okay, if I'm gonna tell you guys, you cannot buy me out. Oh, believe me, I've got some. They're at the Willow Bend Farmers Market. It's called the Salsa Texan. And in the tortilla is coconut flour, baking soda, lime, and water.
That's it.
Willow Bend Farmers Market, and who's the vendor?
Salsa Texan,
The Salsa Texan?
yes.
And that's
And I'm gonna,
only on Saturday mornings.
Saturday mornings, yeah.
Salsa?
And if you call them,
salsa
they
Texas.
will
Salsa
hold
Texas.
them for you so that they're not sold out when you get there.
And you said it's coconut flour, lime, and
Yes.
what else?
Baking powder and water.
So that is legal to have on this whole cleanse.
Yes, although I would recommend, I mean, they're so good, you're gonna wanna like have a fast where you eat nothing but tortillas. Like,
Resist.
eat the veggies too.
Yeah.
Like
Make
they're
a
that
stir
good, I'm
fry
not
and
even,
put the veggies in the
I'm not even
tortilla.
joking.
Go ahead.
Is there a grocery store that sells organic? Can we just walk into a Kroger and find what we need, or do we need to
Kroger
go to Whole
actually is
Foods?
fantastic. They, a lot of, because Whole Foods is really just kind of taking the fair share of all that, Kroger's excellent. They've done some really good work in getting the organic produce up to par.
They even have their own brand now, it's simply Truth.
Yeah, Simple Truth, yeah.
Simple Truth.
But anything those are things that are in a box. So you're probably going to eat less things out of boxes during this whole thing because you're actually looking more at whole fruits and vegetables. So remember that, less things in boxes.
You can always tell if it's organic if you're unsure about the labeling on the little sticker that's on your produce. It'll have a 9 as the starting number, and that means it's organic.
Interesting. I like hot sauce. Is that okay? Really? Okay, good. All the tortilla talk, I was like, but it's no
You
good
gotta
if there's
have
no
hot
hot sauce.
Yeah.
And there's no any kind is fine, really, or
Just look at the label. I just go organic, and then you're feeling good. Just
Okay.
good organic hot sauce.
So 9 will be on the fruits and vegetables. It will be a sticker.
The
Yes, yeah.
If it's fresh fruits and vegetables, the 9 will be on the little
Okay.
sticker at the beginning number.
You have to be careful about the stevia too these days.
That is true.
That's
Good
true.
point.
What is it?
Yeah.
Stevia, I buy organic stevia now,
Yeah.
but yeah.
That's kind of the tough thing about when other companies see, oh, this is selling, and then, you know, all of a sudden Coca-Cola is making some sort of stevia that's not made from stevia.
Right.
Yeah, so Truvia is not stevia.
Now, am I understanding you cannot have almond flour?
Right.
No, just
That's
stay
what
away
I
from the
meant.
nuts.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So what happens after the cleanse?
I love your follow-up questions.
Yes.
Yes, okay, let's talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're eliminating so many things from your diet, and on day 22, you're gonna wake up and think, I should have pizza. And that is a bad idea.
Bad idea. If you do that, you'll realize how bad that pizza is for your body because you're gonna feel like crap.
Well, it depends, if you make your own, like out of cauliflower.
Yes,
and,
yes.
you know,
But
that would
that's
still
flour
be sticking
tortilla.
with the diet.
Yes.
See what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Oh,
That would
yeah,
still,
yeah.
but
Okay,
then
but
you're adding in,
you're
you're adding
talking
in
about
dairy.
going to a nasty place.
If you put
and
in a 9
lunch.
a.m. order at Domino's, you're gonna be sorry.
I'm really sorry right now.
Yes, yeah, I feel you, yeah. So you wanna slowly add things back in. The best way to do this is slowly add things back in. Choose one thing a week. So if dairy's really your thing, you're missing cheese, add dairy in. And what you wanna do is you wanna evaluate what your body symptoms are. So some symptoms of having a food allergy that's kind of underneath the surface is sometimes we think of food allergies like the kid who has the peanut allergy and all of a sudden there's an EpiPen and we're calling 911. But there are other kinds of food allergies that are underneath the surface that are harder to detect. And something like this is excellent for being able to find out if you have those. So what you might be looking for is, are you having more sinus pressure? Are you clearing your throat? Does your stomach feel really bloated after you eat it? Has your digestion changed? Are you not eliminating as often as it feels good? Are you having trouble sleeping? Do you have itchy skin?
Yeah, itchy skin. You're just feeling fatigued.
So basically that whole list, let's see if I can get
In
back to
reverse.
it. This whole list in reverse. And adding one thing a week is a good pace, because that'll give you enough time. Some of these underneath the surface allergies, they're called IgG allergies, for those of you who like to geek out on those things. They can take a little while to manifest. So you might not notice the first day that you're having trouble sleeping, but maybe day 3.
So if you're doing this to decrease cravings and things, so then when it's over, you start adding things back in.
don't add in the chocolate if you don't wanna crave it. Yeah,
I mean, but adding stuff in, wouldn't we be going back to our old bad habits?
Well, some things you may not have an issue with. Do you see what I'm saying? So when you're adding back in, say, dairy, don't add back in Borden, add back in organic dairy.
Okay.
So so afterwards, you're gonna make better choices. If, you add back in nuts, make sure you figure out, does that actually cause a problem? If it doesn't, then nuts are a very healthy food.
yeah,
Eggs are a very healthy food.
and dairy can be as well,
Absolutely.
be good, well sourced.
Good source.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Mhm.
It's all about moderation too, right?
It is,
Yeah.
absolutely, and that's what you're gonna
Yeah,
learn
back
with this
in.
too, is moderation as well.
Is there any caution with like salt or pepper or any other type of additive? I guess I'm all about the additives. I like hot sauce and salt.
Sounds good to me.
The type of salt, yes. You don't wanna go get your regular Morton's table salt. I always say that's the salt that kills. The salt that heals is your sea salts, your Celtic sea salts, or we like what we call Redmond's sea salt.
What is it?
Redmond salt, Redmond's.
Comes right from Utah.
What about Himalayan?
The pink stuff?
Yeah.
Anything with color, because that color is the minerals. And when you hear about problems with salt and high blood pressure or other health issues, it's the white salt that doesn't have the minerals in it. But the minerals actually counter all of the bad effects of like your Morton salt, so you would never have those issues with a salt that is full of minerals.